Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is Wednesday, a beautiful day to drink way too much iced coffee and scream at our television screens. Grab your snacks, grab your emotional support blankets, and buckle up, because the drama we just witnessed has me absolutely spiraling. I've consumed 3 espressos just to process what we just watched. I am losing my mind! My jaw hit the floor and literally rolled under the couch when the bombshell reveal dropped about Lucas and his miraculous survival. We all saw Jens pull that trigger at the construction site. We all saw Lucas go down, and the writers really had us sweating for a second. But a bulletproof vest? Are you kidding me right now? Lucas actually outsmarted a global criminal mastermind by strapping on Kevlar before walking into that trap. I am screaming! Jens thought he had completely eliminated the threat, but when the news breaks that Lucas is still breathing, the absolute panic that washes over Jens is pure cinematic gold. Jens realizes in real time that he didn't just fail to kill Lucas, he walked face first into a trap that is going to dismantle his entire criminal empire. If Lucas wakes up and hands that video footage over to Harrison, it is game over. The empire crumbles. The money dries up. Jens will be spending the rest of his life in a very small cell. Let me circle back to Jens for a second, because this man has the audacity to think he can just waltz through life destroying people without consequences. The sheer arrogance of this villain! Historically, Jens has always operated from a place of absolute untouchable power. He is used to pulling strings from the shadows, making problems disappear with a snap of his fingers. But now, he is backed into a corner, and a cornered animal is the most dangerous kind. When he realizes the vest saved Lucas, you can see the unhinged desperation take over his eyes. I am both terrified and absolutely here for it, because a desperate villain makes for the best daytime television. Jens knows that Harrison is relentless. He knows Harrison will not stop until the cuffs are on his wrists. So, what does our resident psychopath do? He formulates the most reckless, unhinged plan we have seen all year. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself, but we have to talk about the infiltration scene. Jens decides to dress up as a hospital janitor to sneak into the intensive care unit. A janitor? I need to go on a quick tangent here because the security at this hospital is working my last nerve right now. How many times are we going to watch highly dangerous criminals put on a pair of scrubs or grab a mop bucket and just stroll past the nurse's station? It is infuriating. But at the same time, the visual of Jens pushing that squeaky mop bucket down the dimly lit, sterile hallways in the dead of night is pure nightmare fuel. The fluorescent lights flickering off his cold, dead eyes as he navigates the corridors chills. I mean, actual chills ran down my spine. The cinematography in the sequence was absolutely top tier, giving us total horror movie vibes right in the middle of our soap. Now, let us pan over to the hallway outside the ICU, where my heart completely shattered into a million pieces. Laura is sitting out there, looking so incredibly fragile and exhausted. This poor woman has been through the absolute ringer over the decades. If we look at Laura's history, her maternal instinct is her strongest trait, but it is also her greatest source of pain. She has fought tooth and nail to protect her family from every monster that has ever rolled into town. Seeing her slumped in that uncomfortable waiting room chair, completely drained, keeping a vigil for Lucas, is just gut-wrenching. And the dramatic irony of it all? The monster she is terrified of is literally walking right past her in a janitor's uniform. She is so consumed by her fear for Lucas that she doesn't even look twice at the man with the mop. I was screaming at my screen, begging her to look up, begging her to recognize him. Okay, back to the point, because we have to talk about the moment Jin slips into that quiet, isolated hospital room. The steady, rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor is the only sound in the room. Lucas is lying there, pale, hooked up to tubes, completely vulnerable. He survived the bullets, yes, but the blunt force trauma of taking rounds to a Kevlar vest is no joke. His ribs are likely cracked, his breathing is shallow, and he is barely clinging to consciousness. Jens stands over him, dropping the janitor act, and pulls out a syringe filled with a deadly untraceable poison. The bombshell reveal of that needle catching the faint hospital light. I literally stopped breathing. Jens is about to finish the job right there under the noses of the entire medical staff. But then the struggle begins. Lucas's eyes fly open. He might be broken, he might be battered, but he is a fighter. The physical altercation that ensues in that silent room is one of the most breathless, intense sequences I have ever watched. Lucas has to mobilize every single ounce of his remaining strength to grab Jens's wrist before that needle pierces his IV line. It is a terrifying, silent struggle because Lucas knows if he yells, Jens might just snap his neck before anyone can run in. The sheer willpower of Lucas to fight off a fully healthy, adrenaline-fueled assassin while lying in a hospital bed with cracked ribs is legendary. You can see the agony on his face, the sweat pouring down his forehead as he pushes back against the syringe that is inches away from his skin. And then chaos erupts. A monitor gets knocked over, wires are pulled, and the alarms finally trigger. The hospital's automated system kicks in, and suddenly, the quiet night is shattered by blaring sirens and flashing red lights. Code red. The entire hospital goes into a strict, impenetrable lockdown. The heavy security doors slam shut, locking down every single corridor. The transition from a silent, stealthy assassination attempt to a full-blown chaotic emergency is jarring and brilliant. The tension is dialed up to a 11, which brings me to Portia. Oh, Portia. This woman is working my last nerve right now with all her family drama, but I actually feel incredibly bad for her in this specific moment. Let's look at her current situation. She is heavily pregnant, her blood pressure is probably already through the roof, her baby shower was a complete disaster with Curtis and Stella screaming at each other, and she is dealing with the fallout of the Jordan drama. Now, on top of all of that emotional baggage, she is trapped inside a locked-down hospital with an active assassin on the loose. The sheer panic that takes over her face when those lockdown doors shut is palpable. She has to switch from being a stressed-out, expectant mother to a medical professional trying to manage a panicked staff, all while her own heart is beating out of her chest. I am genuinely worried this stress is going to send her into early labor right in the middle of this hostage situation! You heard it here first. I'm calling it right now. This lockdown is going to force all these fractured characters into close quarters, and secrets are going to explode. But more importantly, my bold prediction for the Lucas and Jens showdown, Harrison is going to be the one to break through that ICU door. Harrison has been building up to a massive bust, and he is not going to let Jens slip through his fingers again. I predict Harrison is going to tackle Jens right as that needle grazes Lucas's arm, saving him at the absolute last possible millisecond. I am owning this prediction. And when it happens, I want you all to remember who told you first. What do you guys think? Is Lara going to hear the crash and be the one to save Lucas? Is Portia going to go into labor during the lockdown? Will Jens actually manage to escape through the air ducks like the rat he is? Sound off in the comments below. I want to read every single one of your theories because my brain is spinning a million miles an hour. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more daily rants. And as always, stay soapy.